We've made a lot of progress on our 72 Challenger. The new engine and transmission are in. Now we turn our attention to the rear suspension. To make our old Challenger feel like the new Hellcat we drove, the old leaf spring suspension just isn't going to cut it anymore. To match the front, we will be installing AJE's 4-link and coilover conversion and adding a forward 9-inch rear axle with a limited slip differential to help us get all that Hellcat power to the ground. From the factory, our 72 Challenger came with an 8 3/4 rear end, which is not a bad axle, but it's not enough for our 707 horsepower Hellcat engine. So what we're going to do is install a forward 9-inch. And we've got all aftermarket components. This is the best way to build the strongest 9-inch you can. Our assembly consists of an aluminum 9-inch dropout. We've got a track lock differential similar to a Ford OE style, but much stronger, and a set of 389-to-1 gears. Master install kit and everything we need to build a bulletproof 9-inch. So if you can believe it, with all my time at the magazines, I've never built a rear axle before. I've been told this is one of the easiest ones to do, so we're going to give it a shot right now on camera. The first step is to use a flat file on the back of the ring gear just to make sure there are no high spots. Then, using some old bolts that we keep in the drawer just for this occasion, I pull the ring gear onto the track lock differential. Then apply some red Loctite to the new bolts from the install kit and torque them down. One thing to be aware of when installing the bearings is to make sure that the cage of the bearing and the race are the same height. If they're not, you can't just place this in the press, put the carrier on it, and press them together, because you'll destroy the cage of the bearing. So what we're going to do is use an old race as a platform, set the new bearing and race assembly on the press, put our carrier in, press them together. On most factory 9-inches, you set the bearing preload with a crush sleeve. Our kit comes with this crush sleeve eliminator, which allows us to precisely set pinion bearing preload with a set of shims inside this eliminator. I'm going to start with 25 thousandths of shims in the crush sleeve eliminator and press the entire pinion support assembly together. This is a trial and error process, and in this case, the assembly was too tight. So the pinion comes back out, and I add an additional 20 thousandths shim. Once pressed back together, it has a correct rotational load of 14 to 16 inch-pounds. Our pinion bearing preload is set, and we've got the gear installed in our center section. So the next step of the process is to drop the carrier in and set the backlash, which is basically the clearance between the ring gear and the pinion gears. Basically the mesh, the way the teeth mesh together. And that is done by using these threaded adjusters on either side of the carrier, which will move the ring gear further away from or closer to the pinion gear. With the proper backlash achieved, now I can check the ring gear tooth pattern and adjust the pinion depth by changing the shims under the pinion support. With a good pattern achieved, our rebuilt 9-inch third member is dropped into our axle housing.
While John finishes up the third member, I'm going to start the process of painting the hood. We're using Axalta coatings when we spray the hood, starting off with a neutral gray sealer. The neutral gray sealer gives us a light gray background that's going to give us the best color match with the light blue color. We mix the factory formula into an Axalta Chromax XP base coat, put 2 coats and a distribution coat down, which is going to give us a factory color appearance that's going to blend well into the rest of the car, which has been previously painted about 20 years ago. We followed that with 3 coats of my favorite Axalta Clear, and we're good to go.
Carcraft magazine started in 1953. It was actually called Honk when it first came out. Carcraft existed, so basically from May 1953 till December 2019, and here we are bringing it back right now as a video series. Even though we're only halfway through our build with the Challenger, the timing corresponded with a PRI show in Indianapolis, so we decided to bring the car there to sort of promote the show and have it there on display as a build in progress. And the reception there was really good. I was really pleased with how people responded to the car. I was also really pleased with the reaction to our first episode of the build, and the response has been great so far. Carcraft always kind of focused on engine swaps too, and sort of technology transfer from old to new, or taking new car technology and putting it into an older car to sort of make it more modern, more drivable. And so that's what we're doing with our Challenger with this Hellcat engine.
So with every good car build, you want to use the best products or parts that you can, not only for stuff looking great, but for being safer, stronger, lasting longer. So when I'm building a car at my shop, I always replace all the hardware with a real high quality piece from ARP. Though they are indeed jewelry for your car, they're about as beautiful as they could get. They're also extremely strong, thus being safer, and will last longer. So most of your kits, like here's some suspension bolts, most of your kit will come with a decent, like a grade 5 bolt, and it will do the job. Later on, it'll probably start rusting a little bit, where the ARP stuff is stainless, so you won't have that problem. And the metallurgy in the ARP bolt is far, far superior. So it's a win-win all the way around. It's stronger, it'll last longer, won't rust, and it'll look fantastic.
Look what the UPS truck just brought us. This is the new rear suspension for our 72 Challenger, and we are replacing the horse and buggy leaf springs with a coilover conversion and a 4-link suspension design. And what I think is interesting about this is, from what I've been told, the attachment points on our Ford 9-inch axle housing are the same dimensions as a Fox body Mustang or an SM95 Mustang. So it's a proven suspension design that's being adapted to this 4-link coilover kit to fit our Mopar. Our Challenger is a unibody car, obviously, and the way to attach the 4-link suspension will be going through places that were never meant to support the vehicle's weight. So AJE's kit comes with some reinforcement plates that we'll have to locate up here on the vehicle's subframe, mark some holes, drill some holes, and then once these are installed, we can begin to put the rest of our assembly in.
So two very important external coolers, both of them needed but do different jobs. This would be a cooler for our engine oil to keep the temperatures down and keep the engine life as long as we can. This is our supercharger intercooler. Now this is air to water, and this helps keep our inlet charge cool. Both important. Both are going to be going in front of the radiator behind the grill. We'll have to work out some bracketry to get it in there, and then these both will be doing their job and helping us roll.
Zero W40 full synthetic oil offers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and 50% more cleaning power. To finish off things under the hood, we'll use a new E3 battery that uses lithium technology to provide all the amperage we need, along with significant weight reduction. To help make our classic Challenger feel like the modern Hellcat version, we're installing a bolt-in Dakota digital dash assembly. Using their VHX technology, it'll update our classic with fully lit needles, backlit faces, classic styling, and a highly visible LCD message center.
All right, Kevin, you ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's see how this goes. Whoa! It's nice.
Yes!
Right.
Dude, it's in there. Wow, man. Now all we got to do is figure out whether it's going to go to Drag Week or Power Tour.
Or both?
Or both.
Or both.
Both. I say
That would be awesome.
Yeah.